Hey Fruit Faces, it's Klaireeberry here again, and I want to speak with you guys today a little bit about the narcissism spectrum. Now, I've seen a couple of references to this before, but I recently watched a video by Empaths, is her name, on YouTube. Beautiful woman. She's like a therapist, like a psychotherapist, I think, and she's just brilliant. Like, watching this one video, the first video I think I ever saw of hers, literally blew my mind. And I've seen a lot of videos on subjects such as that. Not an expert, but I do want to talk to you guys about this spectrum, because I've also done a lot of research about autism as well, and I have noticed that there are some correlations. So even before I saw this video, and I'm sorry I don't remember which one, I'll try to remember, but like I said, I had started to kind of consider this like a link between autism and narcissism long before she mentioned it in her video. But she kind of helped, I think, to put it all together and just paint a more clear picture, and not just between narcissist and autism, but also with being an empath and being codependent, which I definitely, have that, I've known for a long time that I'm probably like a more codependent type of a person, empath type of a person. She kind of also helps to split up the difference between the two. The empath, when they're feeling other people's energy and taking in other people's bullshit, feels it. Okay, so like if you have your bullshit and I'm the empath, I feel it. She just differentiated in this video, I think, between a sensitive person. So the sensitive person feels it, but can still like distance themselves and can still realize. But she actually, I know a lot of people think about it being an empath as like a really good thing. Oh, you're empathetic. This is a good thing. More people need to be like this and the world would be great. But she's kind of made it clear to me that, being an empath is really tied into being a codependent, and it's not really your natural healthy state. It's actually a defense mechanism, just like narcissism is. So if you know about narcissism, you know that they say that, everybody thinks that is basically caused by an absent parent or like an abusive parent or something like that. So the narcissist is created a lot of times by other narcissists, or a narcissist parent can create like an empath or a codependent type of a person. And we've noticed these trends, and she kind of explains a little bit more about why. So if you've heard about sensitive periods in Montessori, you have like a time when you're a kid where you're growing. It's just like stages of development. Like you have a time in your period where you're learning this or learning that. And in Montessori, it's like, oh, you have a time for puzzles. If you don't do puzzles during this time of your sensitive development or sensitive period, then you're not going to be good at puzzles for the rest of your life. Like, it's just one of those things. She relates being an empath to that. And her theory is that you actually, because of the same issue, like you have a parent that is not all there, or a lot of times it's like an intermittent reinforcement, like, and it's kind of a difficult concept, you whatever your defense mechanism is, you're trying to solve the problem, you're trying to be there, you're trying to make sense of it. And so that's what happens to an empath. They get stuck in this sensitive period of empathy. So when we're babies, she explains that, everybody has empathy as a baby. Like you hear the baby next to you cry in the nursery, the other babies start crying, and they don't know why they're crying. They can't fathom. So like in a way, they're empaths. And then as you grow up, you go through different stages of empathy. Okay, so the next stage would be, when you grow up a little bit more, then you're like, okay, well, you go over, the baby's crying or the friend is crying. You want to give them your toy, okay? And then the next stage, the more evolved stage, the more healthy stage would be to say, here's your toy, or here's, go get your toy. Help calm them down in a way that, isn't taking so much from you and isn't leaving you having a lack you know, and her theory was kind of that empaths get stuck in this less developed sense of empathy where they just can't really differentiate it, and that, you know, they're still trying to give their toy to somebody else. They're still trying to give their joy to other people, and they're basically their goal in life becomes saving other people. Okay, so empaths, I feel like, and according to her kind of ideas here, are, you know, like empaths would be more like, I guess, actually this was my kind of visualization of it, but from what she said, this is kind of how I visualized it, that empaths are kind of in the middle, and then you have like sensitive people. Like, I think it's still more positive. Like, I think it's very good to be able to feel other people's thing, or if you have like a totally, I guess, maybe normal person, like to where you have empathy but you don't let it affect you. But like a sensitive person would feel it, but they're able to distance. I think that's where most people are, between you feel it, but you distance it, you know, to feeling it less and less and less and less and less. And then when you get over to the other side of the spectrum, a narcissist, they can't feel it. They can't feel the empathy. Now they can see it and they can conceptualize it. And they modulate it, they copy it, they mirror it. Narcissists usually watch a lot of television, and it's to kind of see how, you know, how a person with empathy would react. Because at a very early age, I think they realize, you know, through friends and family that, you know, that they're not normal, and they just can't feel it. So that's kind of why they tend to like to get reactions out of people, for good or for bad. It's, you know, I mean, everybody has a lack. Everybody usually is saying, you know, why am I not good enough? And it's trying to overcompensate. Like, if you're shy, your self-esteem is saying, I'm not good enough, so I've got to, you know, be shy and reserved, and so I don't make a fool of myself or whatever. And on the other hand, if you're like super cocky, then it's the same thing underlying. The underlying problem is the same. You feel like you're not enough, so you're making yourself more to cover up for the fact that you feel like you're not enough. You know what I mean? It's all related, you know, and we all kind of have the same issue, but we have different ways of dealing with it and different ways of processing it. And, you know, the narcissist, I feel like they just want to see other people's empathy. They just want to know, you know, it. And I don't fully understand, you know, narcissism and all of that, but that's, you know, that's why they want reactions. They want to see how people, they want to know, you know, that they're powerful enough to, you know, do that, and they want to see that empathy being played out. You know, and sometimes it's admiration. Now, obviously, they would probably go for admiration before, like, having people give them a negative reaction, for the most part. Narcissists can see, you know, empathy. They can conceptualize it, but they don't feel it. And so on the total opposite side of the spectrum, she puts autism. So closer to the empath side, because they can feel it. They can feel empathy. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, autistic people, they don't have empathy, but they do, according to her theory. They just can't conceptualize it. So in that way, they're completely opposite of the narcissist. So they can feel it, they just don't know what it is. They can't, you know, they're like an empath in the way that they can't differentiate it, but they also can't conceptualize it. So I think, and there is, you know, there are studies that I've looked at where, you know, narcissist parent is more likely to have an autistic child. So I think this is really, really, really interesting, you know, that it's just a different way of looking at autism, and it's a different way of looking at narcissism, and it's a different way of understanding all of us together in our places here on earth. And, you know, the fact that an autistic person, you know, they can feel it, they can feel that empathy, but they can't put it into words, you know, so that's why we don't think they have it. But we all are here to do this work. And it also kind of helps to explain, like, why empaths and narcissists are so drawn to each other. We always hear about this, like empaths, codependents, obviously, like, just always got to be tied up with a narc. Like, they're attracted to each other like water, and it does really have to do with our soul's work. We need to address everything on an energetic level, and it all starts with self-love. And that's the thing too about codependence, and is that they have basically a lack of self-love, which is kind of new to me hearing it put that way, because, you know, you normally think of, no, codependent, somebody who needs somebody, always needs somebody to feel worthy, and they do. They need to feel, they go through life like saying, how can I help other people? I get my self-worth from helping other people, okay? And sometimes the narcissist goes through life, they get their self-worth from not necessarily hurting people. It's not the opposite for sure, but it's like, by affecting other people. They're getting their worth from knowing that they matter in that way, that they can control somebody. That helps them feel alive. That helps them feel worthy. And, if you have a better way or anything to add, I'd love to get a dialogue going about this, so feel free to comment down below. But narcissists and empaths, very, very drawn to each other, because the narcissist wants, somebody who is going to give and give and give and give, give them attention, give them energy, give them any kind of sign that they, that they matter and that they're worthy. And the empath just wants somebody to fix. So the empath just wants to save you and just wants to help you. And that's how they feel worthy. So that it's natural that they would want to find, somebody like a narcissist who is underdeveloped in certain ways, that you want to help, like, draw them out. And it's just a cycle, and it sucks. But there is help, Everybody on this spectrum, except for like the healthy people in the middle, but the people who are at the ends of the spectrum that are not healthy, that are not normal, ideal, they're void of self, is what she put it. So autism, the spectrum there, they are void of themselves in some way. They're void of the conceptualization process of empathy, Empaths void of themselves because they're not, worried about themselves. They're not paying attention. They're not giving themselves a true self-love. They're trying to put it all on, they're trying to look outward in order to fill themselves up and feel worthy. And narcissists are void of that, true self of empathy. And so I really think that, I really firmly believe deep down that everybody can be saved, but with narcissism and codependency, you just have to realize, like, I can't save this person, and I need to focus on myself. And codependents need to realize that. I feel like a narcissist could potentially, heal themselves and, learn how to feel again, learn how to put yourself in somebody's shoes, learn how to get that self-worth, how to not be void of self. But the reason why everybody thinks that's impossible is because I think it's very, very rare, and it's very, very difficult. Just like we don't have an answer, for autism. We have tools that can help us deal with it. And obviously knowledge is power, so that's why I want to do this video. I realize it's kind of out there, and again, I don't completely understand it, so if you have a better understanding, I would love to hear it and talk about it and get this, like I said, get this dialogue going, get us all learning stuff. I just think that, even a little bit, if it resonates with you on any level, it's good to bring this knowledge. And, a lot of people just are so hateful, and they just view, people who hurt them, whether it's a narcissist or whoever, as evil. And it's easy to say, oh, they're this demon, they're not human. I see so many comments like that on a lot of the YouTube videos that I've watched in the past, and it's like, they're not, they're not monsters. They're different, but they're struggling. But here's the thing, and this is the bottom line of basically all healing and forgiveness on this earth, is that we have to realize that this is passed down to us. And the empowerist thinks that it's all, like, in our DNA, which I thought was really interesting. And it's also in the environment. It's like nature, nurture, and it's also, it could be like past life stuff, I think she was saying, like a lot of reasons why. But like a lot of times, and Louise Hay touches on this in Heal My Life, which is a great book. She talks about how, you have to just look at, if you have problems with a person, like parents, like a lot of our problems, even if you're having secondary problems with other people in your life, a lot of our problems stem from problems with our parents, because that's our initial relationship to the world. So a lot of the healing can be done by going back to your child self, your inner child, and giving yourself the love that your parents didn't give you. But also to look at your parents and say, you know what, they were only doing what they knew. And what did they know? they knew what their parents did to them, and they only had the tools, that were taught to them, and they only had the habits. And it doesn't make everything okay, but it's a way of allowing yourself to forgive and helping yourself to forgive others by realizing that, everything that your mom did to you, she probably had done to her. So it's empowering to say, I'm going to stand up now and stop the cycle and not pass this on to other people, your children, or whoever. We need to realize that our feelings are real. It's real energy. So as an empath, when you're feeling something from somebody else, or when you're feeling anything in general, you really want to take a good inventory, take a good stock of where it came from. Am I feeling bad right now, stressed out, just negative in general, because of, somebody else's energy that rubbed off on me that I wasn't able to differentiate? And she has this like slicing metaphor, or even just a real energetic cleanse to like just slice it off, push it away, acknowledge that it's not your shit, it's not your bullshit, and go on with your day. A lot of times, that's all that we need. And as empaths and codependents, to just realize that we are worthy. We define our own self-worth. And when we're in alignment with why we came to this earth, that's how we heal ourselves. And like a lot of these wrong decisions, these wrong things in our life going the wrong way, like we're just getting so far away with the reason why we came here, with our purpose that we were put here to, to fulfill. So the more that you can do this work, get into your inner child, forgive her, deal with your bullshit, and stop taking on other people's bullshit. Realize that you are worthy regardless of whether, you save that person or not. And also one thing that she says that is like a reminder, I think a lot of us know this, and I knew this, but it's a great reminder, is that, you can love someone from afar. You don't have to stop loving someone just because you can't be around them anymore. You can say, you know what, narcissist in my life, I'm done trying to save you. I'm done putting myself out there for you when you're not putting yourself out there for me. You're leaving me hanging. You're breaking my heart. All of this stuff. I'm not going to worry about saving you. I'm not going to worry about making you like me again. I can love you from afar. And sometimes you just have to do that. And you can say, I'm never going to stop loving this person, because if you're that type of person, that's just who you are. That's what type of person you are. They can even turn you on still. You can seriously love them, and you can send them that love. But you don't have to sacrifice yourself. You are worthy without saving that person. There are some people that you cannot save. Yeah, I think that narcissists can change, but it's never going to be because somebody else saves them. And in fact, I think that if you really want a narcissist to change, the fastest way would be to let them go, and let them experience that life without you. And, true narcissists who are really, stereotypical and really deep narcissists, true, really, malignant narcissists aren't gonna, it's, you leaving, honestly, not to try to say you don't matter, but it's not going to change anything for them, because they're just going to go on to the next supply. That's most likely what's going to happen with a narcissist. But if it's somebody, if you have any chance of helping them, it's going to be by cutting them off and showing them, that you're worthy, and showing them, that you can heal. And perhaps if you heal yourself first, you'll attract someone, whether it's the one you wanted before or maybe somebody new, that is going to value you and add to your life, rather than constantly trying to take away or hurt you or destroy you. Because again, on that spectrum, the empaths are over here trying to help everyone, trying to save other people. And a lot of times when it comes down to it, the narcissists are trying to hurt and destroy and take from people, rather than give and help and save. So you can see the spectrum. What do you think? Is this totally crazy psycho battle? Is it real? Do you have personal experience with this? What do you think? Let's have a chat. Take care. I wish you all the best. I hope you guys are having a great day. Just really positive vibrations and thoughts to you. I really love to just send good energy around to everybody in the entire world. Like, visualize the globe, becoming vegan and happy, heaven on earth, and a ball of loving energy around the earth to eliminate suffering and get to that next dimension, I guess. So yeah, we're all here together, we're all in it together, we're all doing our work, it's almost like the dualism of life. There's always, it's a dance. Life is a dance. So remember, you have the power to address your energy. You can't control other people, you can't save other people, but you can save yourself. And by saving yourself, that's how you're truly going to be able to help other people. And you do that by paying attention to your feelings, being aware, being conscious of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and by doing things and treating yourself in such a way where you're feeling good, because what we focus on flourishes. And when we know that we're valued, and when we treat ourselves like we're valued, then we will attract others who do the same to us. And even just being a good, totally cool, totally awesome person, you may not feel it, but you are out there affecting people. You're affecting the energy in this world. You're affecting the energy in your room, in your house. You're affecting the energy in your neighborhood, in your city, and it goes out from there. And we're all interacting with this universe on a very deep level that we don't even know. So that's why this self-love, this self-care is so important, because we have to realize that we have God inside of us. We are here to honor ourselves and honor our purpose. So that's why meditation and everything is so important, and just getting away, getting into nature, going for meditative walks, really allowing yourself to process your emotions too and feel them, instead of deny them, cover them up, distract yourself from them with every little thing. We have to do a little bit of work. We have to go back and visit our wounds from childhood, or whenever we had our wounds. We have to go back and tell ourselves, it's okay, you did the best you could. I forgive you for not escaping that situation sooner. I forgive you for not doing everything perfectly, whatever it is. And allowing, a lot of times things happen to us when we're so young that, you can blame yourself even though you're so young, but it really and a lot of times, it's so, like, when really bad things happen to us, we block them out. So even just going back to who you were, remembering who you were before that, but also remembering who you were during that time, and just allowing yourself to feel the emotions instead of cover them up, kind of uncover them. It's just like a wound. Whenever you have a real wound, if it gets infected and it hasn't healed properly, then you don't just put a Band-Aid on it and go do something else. You have to actually cut into the wound again. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt at first.